How's everybody doing today? So today I'm going to do kind of a review on a knife that I talked about a little bit in one of my previous videos. I carried it quite a bit last year. Haven't carried it quite as much this year, but it did see a lot of pocket time last year. And this is the Wee knife saakshi. This is a great little knife. Right out of the gate, I liked it. It's a nice looking knife. The handle is beautiful with the carbon fiber. It's got a nice look to it. It's also contoured, and it has titanium scales. The blade steel is 20 CV on this. I do prefer like a stone washed or a satin finished blade. This is like a bead blasted blade. It does have a nice fuller that runs along the top, which aids in the reverse flick. It's a good little knife. The lockup on this thing is super solid. I mean, it is just, there's absolutely just nothing. It's a good lockup with this titanium liner lock. It's a solid knife. Also very lightweight knife. With the titanium and the carbon fiber, this thing, you're not even really going to notice it in your pocket. So this is the pocket clip it came with. And it functions just fine. I'm just not a fan of these pocket clips with this little bill on them. They seem to catch on things when I'm carrying it, and I don't like that. So I did buy an aftermarket Civivi titanium pocket clip, $20 or something like that. Not too bad. Fits on there fine. I'm not really a huge fan of the way it looks, but functionality is fine. And it does have better retention than the stock pocket clip. So, but yeah, I did, let me get this fuller. There we go. What the heck? I did take this knife apart. I put skiff bearings in it. And it's just a very useful blade shape. It's pretty slicey. It's thin, not super thick blade stock. And it comes down to a nice fine edge. You can get like 4 fingers on this knife pretty comfortably. I want to say it's like a 3.3 inch blade, 3.35, something like that. The cutting edge extends pretty far down. There's a little bit, not a whole lot of room to sharpen before you hit that plunge, but you got a little bit. So these knives actually have been out for quite a while, but I just had never done a video on it. So if anyone was curious about, what my thoughts were on this particular knife, I figured I would share those. It is a really good EDC. These are currently, believe, being discontinued, but you can still find them out there, and they've come down in price a bit on some of the variants. So there's 3 different variants on this particular knife. There is this carbon fiber one, which looks really nice. There's also a wood one, which I also like, with a black blade, coated blade. And then there is a JG10 with black liners, and I think it's got the same type of bead blasted blade. So those are the 3 different variants. This was the one I chose just because I thought the carbon fiber looked really nice. Yeah. The action on this thing, smooth, very smooth. It's not a super heavy detent. I'd say medium, but it's just about right. This knife doesn't drop shut, but it does shake shut. You could probably loosen up the pivot a little bit, which I have fooled with it. This is where I like it. I like it where it's tight. There's no blade play at all, and it still has decent action. So it's kind of a balance, And this knife does it well. It's very smooth, very comfortable in the hand, and yeah, it's got really good ergonomics. There is a little bit of jimping on the spine. It could extend a little bit further, but you do catch it with your thumb. Yeah, very pokey blade shape, and I'd say good for, pretty much any kind of task that you would hope to come across on a daily basis. So we'll do some size comparisons real quick. The saakshi, and this is the PM3. And then we'll do the Speedster as well. See if I can line them up pivot to pivot here. So the handle's about PM3 length. Blade's a little bit longer. Not quite as long as the Speedster. It's a 3.5-inch blade. So this is, I believe this was around, I believe it was around 3.3, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, let's do a close comparison real quick for you. So it's right about PM3 size. Not as tall, quite a bit. Well, even with the flipper tab, it's not as tall. So it's going to take up a little bit less room. And PM3, it's not like a big knife or cumbersome in the pocket anyway. So, as far as what it's like to carry it, it's pleasant. It's really smooth in and out of the pocket with these carbon fiber scales. I did have some issues with this clip where it would catch on things, and this goes in and out of the pocket so easy, it would just shoot out. So I actually dropped it a couple times due to this clip because it caught on things. Like one time was out taking the trash out or something and it hit the concrete. I was like, oh, did nick it up a little bit, but concrete and knives don't mix, by the way. But yeah, I've used this knife quite a bit. I've carried it quite a bit. It's a good size for EDC, good blade shape. Just a good utilitarian knife that's comfortable to use. 20 CV on the blade steel, if I didn't mention that. So it's going to hold an edge pretty good long time. Like I said, these I believe are discontinued, but like you can still find them out there. The most let's see. I think the lowest I've seen, I saw the wood ones under $120 right now. So for 20 CV titanium, knife, it's a pretty good deal. These are a little bit more for the carbon fiber, but same basic knife, just got a different scale material. So that's kind of more of a personal preference. And then they got the JG10 ones. I think they were going for like 130 or something like that. But anyway, I just wanted to share this knife with you guys. I've had it for a while, and I know you guys have seen it in a few videos. And I had never done a specific video on this particular knife. So the knife saakshi, one of my early purchases and still one of my favorites. It's one that is going to stay in my collection just because of how it functions, how it looks. And, it was one of my early purchases that I really couldn't pass up. So thanks again for joining me. Y'all have a wonderful evening and take care out there.